Hello all, how are you guys doing today? I'm super excited to be back with you doing another video. I know it's been a little minute and I keep saying that all the time, but I did want to get this infertility video out to you guys, my story about my infertility and what I've been dealing with. And I hope you guys want to watch this video, and if you do, please stay tuned. Alright. Okay, starting from the beginning. Alright, I first noticed my infertility issues probably when I was probably about 15. At 15, I was actually with my husband, my current husband, and we were, having, intercourse and stuff like that, and it was unprotected and everything like that. And I noticed that, I wasn't like getting my periods. I felt like my periods had stopped. I wasn't getting my periods and I wasn't getting pregnant. So, and it's not that I was trying to get pregnant at 15. I was just trying to enjoy myself, which was, it's a whole nother story. But, so in that time frame of having unprotected sex and not really getting my periods, I felt like something definitely was wrong, because it was weird. I'm a woman, I'm not getting my period, I'm not getting pregnant, what's going on? So we go on, fast forward to about 2 or 3 years later, after no babies, I decided to make me an appointment with my OBGYN. So I did so, and in making that appointment, I found out that I had cysts on my ovaries. They weren't like cancerous or anything like that. They were just like cysts. They said they can fall off, they can't fall off. Some, it just depends. Kind of they can, they can't. I was just hearing all kinds of stuff. So when you hear when you hear a doctor say you have cysts on your ovaries, it's kind of like that don't sound good. So I accepted the news that I heard, and I kind of figured that's why I'm dealing with this, because I have this, and this. So I was like, okay, let me just accept this. I have cysts on my ovaries. So, that's all I was told. So I go on and, with my life, years later, probably trying to give y'all like my ages, like probably around, I was 15 at the time, 16 at the time. When I went to the doctor, I was 16. So I say about 18 or 19, I decided to actually go to the doctor and get a physical done, because I was like, I just want to, back to my OBGYN, I just want to make sure everything is good down there, everything, I heard I had cysts on my ovaries, so let me go, see what's going on, see if they still there. So I go to that doctor, and when I'm in there, she was like, we don't see the cyst anymore. What was told to you years ago, we don't see now when they did the ultrasound. So I was like, okay, this is a good thing. Okay, so my period's gonna come back. I'm good. Like I'm good. My period's gonna come back. This gonna happen. Be pregnant. Everything gonna just start happening. Leave that doctor's appointment. Nothing. No period missing. No period. People say I should be happy no period, because it's painful and sometimes and stuff like that, but for me it was very devastating. No periods, no pregnancies, no nothing. And I go on with my life, and like I said, I would do these appointments for a checkup for myself probably every 2-3 years, not to get like past me, because I would do that regularly, but to like get things checked out to see what's going on as far as my period and me being able to conceive. So I went back few years later, and when I went back, I was actually told, have I ever heard of PCOS? And finding out what PCOS was a very disturbing thing to me. And the reason why I say that is because it carries so many symptoms. And those symptoms that it carries is so, like, I don't know, it's a lot, and it's just a lot. Like I said, I wish I had wrote down a list, but it's like facial hair, pretty much a lot of symptoms. And so the doctor was asking me, do you have any of these symptoms? So I'm like, actually, I pretty much have all of them except for 2. I think I had all of them except for 2. So they basically told me I had PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome, and that if I wanted to have a baby, that I would need to do infertility to do so, because people that deal with this can't normally get pregnant with, with it. So, and like I said, it hasn't happened this long, so I figured it must be true. Still here, 30 years old, no babies. So I'm like, okay, all right. So after I got that news, me and my husband, at the time I was 18. No, I went to the doctor when I was 18. So a few years later, we got married when I was 18. So a few years later, probably like when I was 21, we decided to try the IUI. So we tried the IUI, and I do the shot to myself. Well, he actually gave him a shot, my husband did. And you have to do a few other steps too. And I went back to the doctor, found out that I was ovulating. So we did the procedure, the IUI, and we went back to the doctor for our results. Our results were that I wasn't pregnant. So that was very, very hard for me, because I was like down and very, depressed, and I was like very, very saddened by the news of not being pregnant after doing IUI. So next thing, I go home. I was in like a depression, because you hear that this not having this happen, so it just kind of brings you to a halt. So then one day, it was like a few years after us doing that, because I needed a break, because after doing that IUI, it exhausted me. I needed time. So a few years later, I started to receive my periods, but they were like weird. Like I would get a period like 1 month, and then not get one the next month, and then I would get a period, and then I would not get one the next. It was like every other month. It was weird. So I had to start writing my periods down, and I should have brought my list with me, but I do still have my periods written down all the way from probably 2007, 2006. It was 2005. I have all my periods written down, and I still have the paper of all my periods. It was some years ago. I started tracking just to see when I was getting periods. I have a list where it's almost like no periods on that list. Like it was like crazy, like every other month. So we were still doing our thing, as far as intercourse and everything like that. So one day, like I said, I had periods every other month. So I'm thinking, whatever, I'm not gonna get a period this month. So I don't know what tempted us to do this, but we went to the Dollar Tree, and I said, you know what, I think I'm gonna get a pregnancy test. I don't even know what inspired me to get a pregnancy test, because what I was dealing with, I really didn't need it, because I was like, it's not gonna happen on its own, so whatever. So I go get a pregnancy test, and I take the pregnancy test, and it had 2 lines. So me and my husband we were in shock. We were in shock. Okay? When I tell you that we were in shock, I can't even explain to her. We were like excited. We started like we drove to his mama's house, told her. We were in the store, and y'all, I had the pregnancy test in my hand, and I asked this random lady. I said, "Does this show 2 lines?" She was like, "Yes, congratulations." And I showed somebody else, and they was like, "Yes, congratulations." So I was like running through the store showing people just to prove that this was what I was seeing. So we told some family members, we showed them, like everybody, we were all excited. So one day, fast going, past me being excited, that all of that, a few days later, nothing, I was still excited, blah, blah, blah. So I say probably, they don't even think, I think it was like weeks. It was like a week or 2 later, I started to bleed. I thought because I heard you can get your period while you're pregnant. I've heard of people saying that. So I was like, okay, now my period want to come while I'm pregnant. So, okay. So period come, I'm thinking that, but it was really painful. Like, I've had periods before, but it was not as painful as this one. This one was like, it felt like needles were, poking. Like, it was crazy. It was the craziest feeling ever. And I decided, being that this is hurting so much, let me go ahead and just go to the doctor. So I got my positive pregnancy test with me. So I go to the doctor. First thing she said, "Have you ever had a miscarriage before?" I guess before that. And so I was like, "No, I haven't ever been pregnant before." So she came back and she told me, she said that you had a miscarriage. You had a miscarriage, and yeah. So I was, when I was sitting up, you take the news and you hear it because you've been trying so hard. So you take the news. You're like, okay, all right. Yeah, I pretty much didn't have much to say, as you can tell, with the news that I had received about having a miscarriage. So I held on to that pregnancy test for years. I was so down. I was down to depression. I was like really, really depressed. I held on to that pregnancy test for years because I would just go back and look at it, and I would look at it, and I would look at it, and I would look at it, and I'm like, man, I was almost there. I was almost there. I had a conversation with a pastor or two, and I remember them saying that I needed to get rid of that pregnancy test because it's going to keep bringing up that memory. So I need to get rid of it because holding on to things like that can really keep you down. I didn't do it right away because that was still a hard thing for me to do, to just throw this pregnancy test away that obviously had two clear pink lines on it. And I don't know, it just, one day I just got the courage to actually throw it away. I threw it away, and I was sad about throwing it away. And even when I threw it away, I was kind of going back to it, like, should I get it out, or whatever. But I just left it in there, and I tried to pick myself up or whatever and keep going. Fast forward to after I threw that pregnancy test away, I say about a few months later, I had made an appointment because I wanted to try to do IUI again. Because mind you, once I had finally gotten past and gotten over, which I've, was still kind of dealing with the miscarriage, I was like, I still want to try to do this pregnancy thing. So let me try IUI again. We go to this doctor. I feel like he didn't care. Like, anytime you're doing something this serious, you need a doctor that cares. Because if you don't have a doctor that cares, it's not going to happen. It's not. It's going, it's going to always, so I decided, I'm going to roll with him anyway, because where I live, we didn't have many options for infertility doctors. So I decided to go with him anyways. And I did. And he got us set up with everything and everything like that. And we did the IUI again. I did everything that I did the first time. The shot in the stomach, everything like that. Went back to him, found out I was ovulating. We inseminated, the sperm into me and everything like that. And a few weeks later, we go back for the results, not pregnant. Y'all, this, not pregnant. I was so drained because we were spending money on this that we really too much didn't have, but we wanted a baby so bad. We've been together so long, we wanted a baby. Not pregnant. Second time doing the IUI, not pregnant. So I took those results. I got down again. I got really, really depressed, and I just laid around all the time. I really wasn't feeling it. I really wasn't into doing much. I was just drained. We did that second IUI, no pregnancy. So I was really, like I said, depressed, down, everything like that. And I would just every now and then just like get really, really to the point where I just didn't want to be bothered with nobody. At those times, all this time, this whole time, going throughout, I'm being invited to baby showers. People around me wanted to talk about their kids. They wanted to talk about everything that had to do with a child. Everything that had to do with a baby. That's all people wanted to talk about. And mind you, it's been times where I had been in a group where I was the only one without a child. So everybody in the group wanted to talk about their babies, wanted to talk about, oh my goodness. I felt like I was being tortured. Because this group wanted to talk about, going to baby showers, doing this, doing